So today, I'm going to be talking about creatives, on how to make creatives more creatives with limited assets. I've talked about this before. However, this time I'm not going to be using AI. Not because I don't love AI, I use it every single day, but it's not everyone's cup of tea. And sometimes if someone brings you a creative idea and the first person that's coming to you saying, hey, you should use AI for that, it gets a little taxing, it gets a little tiresome. So I experienced this a few weeks ago. Somebody on one of my teams sent me a image creative and they said, we don't have a lot to work with. What can we do with this? And we were trying to figure out color ideas and what we could do. And we came up with some great ideas. I thought of some great ideas for some, thumb stopping, ads. And I've been actually, after we did that, I realized I'm seeing this more and more in the feed. So it's just something that I had seen. It got locked up here, and then it came out in our design. So what I'm going to show you, something very simple. It is not difficult to do. I'm going to do it with you live. It shouldn't take more than 5 or 10 minutes. Going to be taking a single image. We'll just use this image over here and turn it into something like this, something like this, and something like this. And just using 2 tools. The 2 I'm going to be using, one everyone has access to is Canva. That's just to get some of the color editing we're going to be doing. And then the other one I use to edit daily, pretty much daily, just because it's super easy to use and pretty much you can get a free version of it. It's CapCut. You don't have to use CapCut for this. Let's walk you through how to do this. So let's get started. Okay, so we are in Canva. So this whole video is going to be in 2 parts. One is just creating the assets and the other one is then editing those assets. So we're going to start with this dashingly handsome guy. This one you can see, it's not a completely clean background, but it's still going to work because I tested it before I did this. So everything is going to be in an Instagram, just square format. You can do this in any format you want. So first of all, I'm just going to crop this to the size I need. So I'm just going to blow this guy up a little bit. And yeah, that should work. Actually, I'm going to crop him in a little bit. There we go. All right, first things first. Once I have this, I'm going to copy and duplicate. So I'm just going to, you're just going to put the same image. I just Command C or whatever you use to copy and paste. Copy, paste. There we go. So it's one on top of the other. Now, and there's a reason for this. You can see one on top of the other. So what I'm going to do now with this top image, I'm layering now. I'm going to go to Edit Photo. Again, you can do this all in more professional tools like Photoshop. This is just for those of us who have to work really quick. Not saying Photoshop users don't work quick. You work very fast, but you'll see what I'm saying. So I'm going to use Background Remover tool. So I click that. Nothing looks different, but if I move this now, you can see I have just this gentleman and I have the background the same. Okay, so once I have that, I'm going to move the top layer out a little bit because I need to access that layer in the back. Now I'm going to duplicate, 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 and duplicate. So I have, looks like 4 the same image. All right, let's get our colors. I'm just going to use 4, but you could do more if you want to. So all I'm going to do now, so I have my top layer here on every photo, and then I have the back layer. I'm going to pick, the one that's in the back. Edit photo. I'm going to move my head out of the way here. And I have this option here called duotone. This is the fastest way to do this for me. And I just want to pick some contrasting colors. So I'm going to start with this fuchsia, and now I get this effect. So I get this cool, let me move my head out of the way. This cool kind of, the color kind of goes with what you're working with. You could also just color select from the original image. It's up to you. But let's do this with all of them. So let's go to the next one. And let's pick another contrasting color. I'm going to go with this amber, and then do it again. Let's go back to a more poppy kind of color. And then let's tone it down a little bit with this, what's this, peppermint, or whatever it is. So I have these 4 colors. All right, so once you have that, now you have your assets. Those are all the assets you need to do everything that we're going to do. So all I'm going to do now is get rid of this top one, and we're good to go. So let's create what we need now. So I'm just going to download these and move this out of the way. So you're going to download all of those. Cool. So we're going to come back as soon as I have these all ready to go. Actually, you know what? We'll just do this live. Hang on one second here. So I'm just going to create a new page down here. And now I need to upload those images. So let's get those uploaded. And just like that, through the magic of editing, we have our images here. So you can see right here, I've uploaded, I basically just downloaded all 4 of those images, and then I just re-uploaded them back into Canva. So now all I'm going to do is drop them all into the same square. So I'm just going to drop that in, that in, that in, that in. Okay, now I just need to format these into a square. So little trick in case you've ever found yourself in this position. Don't try to get them perfect. I just line them all up. Whatever order for right now. Actually, I'll do it like this. You got to think, you're trying to think ahead here. The way I'm going to want these to move is in a clockwise, is the way I'm doing it. So it's going to go from this blue to this, whatever that color is, reddish, fuchsia, whatever, then yellow, then purple. So I want these colors to contrast as they move. So that's the order I'm going to put them in, but you can play with it. Once you have it squared up like this, I just select all of them, drag it out, and boom, you're done. This is going to be your second asset. So I'm going to download that one. Okay, that's good to go. So that is number 2. Now, you want to create the long one so you can have it scrolling past or scrolling this way. You can open up a whole fresh canvas and do what I'm going to do, but I'm just going to show you my kind of quick and dirty way to get the sizing I need. All I need to do is if I go to resize and magic switch, I'm just going to go to, get this out of the way, custom size. And just for these purposes, I'm going to make it a 2000 width and a 500 height. It really doesn't matter a ton. You do want the pixel count higher, but as long as you have the width 4 times wider than the height, because you're going to have 4 stacked up or side by side, you're good to go. And then once that's done, I'm going to click continue. If you know how to do all this and you just want to skip forward to the editing part, just skip to, I'm going to do it my little square here, this timestamp, and you can go right to the edit. Okay. Really all I need is to clean one of these guys right here. So I'm just going to get this out of the way, move my head here. Okay, let's just get rid of these. Okay, cool. So this is what I need here. So now if I go back to my uploads, I have my images again. So let's just drop those in again. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, now I'm just going to line them up. Whatever order you want. Let's do it the same as before, just for consistency. Line that one up. These will kind of snap into position as you go. Boom, boom, boom. There you go. All right, so I have all those. I'm going to select them all with a click and a drag, and then just drag them all into the space, and boom, perfect fit. Now, this next one is just a step if you want. Since I know this is going to be scrolling, I want to add a little something to connect the two. You can get fancy and put gradients between them, but I don't want to go that far. So I have this little geometric arrow that I'm going to use, just to give it a little bit of something. And 90 degrees, there we go. All right, and I'm going to make this, I could make it white, but I'm working for speed right now. So I'm going to, actually, yeah, why not? Let's make it white. There we go. Okay. So I'm just going to do the same thing in each area, just to give it something. Okay, there we go. There is our third asset. It's actually like the 6th one, but so we have 3 different assets now. We have this long one, we have the square matrix, and then we have all 4 individual. Okay, I'm going to download this. And while I do that, let's go ahead and crack open CapCut. At least that's what I'm using. And I'll show you how to create all 4 of these creatives. All 3 of these creatives. Okay, here we go. Okay, welcome to CapCut. This looks pretty much like any other basic video editor. So let's just get right into it. So let's go with the first, which is going to be the easiest one, which is just that color, that flash color change, just pop, 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 pop of different color. So all I'm going to do here, I've uploaded all my imagery here. So I'm going to take my 4 just single images, paste them in. And because, I'm going to change the order of these like we did before. Not exactly the same, but yeah, so this is kind of the effect I get. Boom, 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 boom. Those different colors here. Now, because I'm going to want this to go kind of quick, it's up to you how fast you want it to go. I'm going to copy all of these, copy, and I'm just going to paste them right back to the end there. So I have this effect. And notice each of these is 5 seconds long. We're at almost 40 seconds right now. I'm just gonna click them all and just drag them. Whoa, that's really small. Let's get them down to, it's a little, let's go to about 10 seconds here. Somewhere in there, good enough. So now if I just play this, you can see how it's kind of clicking through. It's a little slow. So I'm going to really crunch this boy down. Boom, 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 boom. So there you go. That's all you have to do to get that effect. And now you're done. And what's nice is, yes, there's, different colors going on, but since the reason we did that layering at the very beginning was so this gentleman doesn't change, so that color doesn't change. And that kind of helps ties it together and gives it kind of a cool effect. Pop, 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 pop. You could do the same thing and have words coming up on every one. 20% off, sale, April, whatever. So you could have that kind of build also. That's another way to do it. But then all you have to do is hit export and you're good to go. So that's number one. Number two is going to be that scroll, that pan scroll across, which is kind of a cool effect because you're basically getting a carousel without having to have anyone do a carousel. And you could do this with different products also. So this is just, the version I'm showing you. So that's going to be this image here. So I'm going to drop that in. So there's a couple things that need to happen here. For one, you want to make sure that you're set up, there's an aspect ratio button right here. And you can set up so your different heights and all of that. So you just want to make sure you're on a 1:1. And then from here, all I'm going to do is I need to expand this out. So you can either click and drag or use the little scale thing here. But I know, because I did this before, that this is going to be 400%. Okay, so you get this, which is obviously not what we want. So I just want to click and drag this to where I want it to be, where I want it to start, which is that first square. Okay, now we get to the fun part. We're going to use 2 keyframes. So what I'm going to do from the very beginning here, right up here where it says position and size, make sure you've actually selected your image down here, and you'll have this option. You click this position and size keyframe at the top. That should be actually at the beginning, not at the end. There we go. Okay, so now at the beginning, we're just going to be right where we are. This isn't going to move. It'll make sense. If I go to the end, I'm going to go right before the end and select my positioning right here. Make sure I have my layer selected. Keyframe again. Now, from the second one where I'm selected right here, this little white dot, I'm going to drag my image all the way to the end where I want it to end, which is going to be this one. So now I've said I want you to start here and end here. So if I go to the beginning, if I just slowly pan through this, this is the effect I'm going to get. Yeah. So if I play this from the top, click, I get this. Now, this may be a little too fast. And in that case, all I would need to do is drag my image out. And what's nice is I can just click and drag my keyframe where I want it to be. So I don't have to do all that process again. So now if I play from the top, I get this. Just a little scroll through. And then it'll, repeat depending on how you have it set up. So that's number 2. And then you just export it as a video. You can go as high as 4K and you should be good to go. So the next one is the more difficult one. And again, it's not really hard. It's this same idea of adding keyframes and just telling it, I want you to go here and end here. So let's get into that. So now I'm going to upload where I had that matrix already built. And I know that I need to make this bigger so I can get just one square at a time. So I'm increasing it. You can click and drag it. I just know I have to do it by 200%. All right. So I know I want it to go from this guy to this guy to this guy to this guy. And then I'm going to want it to end back on this guy. So I'm going to need 5 keyframes. So I'm going to start at the very beginning. And I'm just going to say, start right there, don't move. for the moment, I'm just going to click somewhere. And right now I had this at about 6 seconds. So I'm going to drag this out a little bit to 8 seconds. Just going to click somewhere. I'm just guesstimating my area. You can always move these, so it's not a big deal. I'm going to add a keyframe and then just drag it to where I want it to be, which is to the right. And I'm going to repeat that process. Click somewhere, keyframe, drag it up. There's my number, that's my third one. There we go. One more time. Actually, there'll be 2 more times. Click in, add a keyframe. So you can see down here, there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, but I haven't moved the 4th one yet. So since I have that added, let's move to the 4th one. There you go. That's good enough. And then because the last one I wanted to end back at the beginning, I'm going to click in here, add a keyframe, and just drag it to where I want it to be, right there. Okay. And this may be a little bit fast, but let's see what we got. So if I just go to the beginning, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then back to the top. I went ahead and went back to the top because then if it repeats, it just kind of keeps going. Okay, so I know that's a lot that I went through, but it should be pretty step-by-step, pretty simple to go through. And I do apologize right at the end because I realized at the beginning, I really thought, oh, I'll do this in like 5 minutes. Nope. It takes a little more time, but again, I'm explaining this. So once you get in the rhythm, it's pretty fast to go through and do it. You've done it a few times, and this is just another way to try to get some different thumb-stopping creatives. Of course, match with the color to the brand colors that you're using. And another good way to do it, if you don't feel like you're a good color kind of, person, if that makes sense, like how to pick the right colors. You can just color select from your actual image. So if there's more earth tones, you can just use a little eyedropper tool and just pick the colors for your background. I hope you got some value out of this. I hope you get to try some of these if you haven't already. You could try different video backgrounds. There's lots of ways you could spin this. So if you have any questions, just go ahead and throw in the comments or DM me or whatever. I hope you guys enjoy it and I'd love to hear your thoughts. So have an amazing day.